Yo people, welcome back to a new video on the Big Steph channel, and today we're going to be talking about Thomas Partey's shock move to Saudi Arabia. How will Arsenal move on from there? Who do Arsenal sign next? Let's go, guys.
Stuck inside a maze, I've been up for days. Cartings on my face, no, you can't see a thing. But I see all the hate, and the fake ass niggas talking in my face. But I cannot be phased, I gotta be brave. Provide for the fans so they don't have to slave. Mom told me behave, but I'ma wild out till a nigga in the grave. I'ma wild out till a nigga in the grave. I'ma be a grave.
So ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about Thomas Partey and his possible move to either Saudi Arabia or Juventus. Now, a lot of reports are confirming that Thomas Partey has agreed personal terms with either Juventus or Saudi Arabia. Two different reports. We had reports back in June, late June, that he apparently agreed terms with the move with Juventus. Then now we hear reports about possibly Saudi Arabia. But all in all, Thomas Partey will not be traveling will not be traveling with the squad to the United States of America for the first week. The plans are reported that he will join the team later down next week to possibly get in the swing of things. But it's a bit of a sticky one because he just played in a friendly against Nuremberg. He played pretty well. You hear these reports start to ramp up, and all of a sudden he's not traveling with the squad immediately. Not hearing reports about the injury either. Smith Rowe, another player, for example, that's not going directly with the squad. He just won the Under-21 Euro Championships with England. Understandable. Matt Turner, who won't be there, just represented his country in 2 competitions. So, understandable why he's not there. And a lot of youth players were left out of the American tour because Arteta chooses to go with a more experienced squad and a more squad that he's looking to play, especially in the Premier League, to have a strong Premier League start to the season. No Thomas Partey, though, is a bit of a weird one. But I mean, I have been critical of Thomas Partey, especially in the back end of last season. You can see games against Man City, the games against Forest. I love Thomas Partey, and I think last season was his best season in an Arsenal shirt. At times, like I said, against Palace, he was probably one of the most standout players. Him and Martin Odegaard at times looked like it was effortless the way they would play football. Absolutely effortless the way they could control the game. In terms of the tempo, in terms of how play the passes they wanted to play, take control of the game when they wanted to take control of the game. Thomas Partey last season was doing that, and for large portions of last season, he was touted as probably the best central defensive midfielder in the Premier League, behind Casemiro or Rodri. Thomas Partey was named in that top 3, in that top upper echelon of defensive midfielders in the Premier League, let alone the world. So what happened at Arsenal looking to sell him for the reports are Arsenal want about 50 million, Saudi Arabia to offer 40 million, Juventus to offer, if they're still in the race, they have to meet Arsenal's demands. Who are Arsenal looking for to replace? Well, Caicedo, like a lot of people want. Reports from The Athletic are coming out and said Arsenal's persistence in January has caused a fallout with Brighton's board, and it looks like Chelsea have laid a lot of groundwork looking to get this deal wrapped up. But Arsenal, while it looked like the Declan Rice transfer was a bit slow, they did check in with the player's point of view, but nothing ever materialized on that front. So it just goes to show you, yes, we were heavily linked with Declan Rice, especially in January. That was a possible move. But after Caicedo said he wanted out of the club and he didn't get his move eventually, it probably caused a fallout between the Brighton hierarchy and the Arsenal hierarchy. And that's why we never really went back in fully from Moises Caicedo. That's why we pushed so hard for Declan Rice, because Caicedo was looking very, very unlikely. Now, we hear reports about Romeo Lavia from relegated Southampton. Southampton reportedly want 50 million euros for the player. I think the player is a very good young player. Came through Man City's youth academy. Looked to be a bright spark in that relegated Brighton side. He looks strong, powerful in midfield. He can pass it. He has a good eye for a tackle. However, still only 19, 20 years old. To come into this squad and automatically be a starter, I don't know how I feel about it. I honestly don't know how I feel about it. If we get him for a backup, if we get him for as a quality number 2 in the position, I would not mind. But then what happens to Emil Smith Rowe? What happens to Fabio Vieira? What happens to all those other players that could possibly and potentially play in the number 8 role? No, I do have, I think, the solution that I think would be absolutely brilliant. I named him in a past video of mine, and Declan Rice alternatives we should be looking at. And now with Partey going, Declan Rice could play the 6 and replace the Partey role. But I think Tune Koopmeiners would be an absolutely brilliant signing. Talented young player, only 25 years old, contract expires in 2025. He can score goals from midfield, scoring double-digit goals in midfield. And his technical ability and his passing range is something of like a Granit Xhaka. He's an elevated version of a Granit Xhaka. Also left-footed. Technically very gifted. He's Dutch, so he could get along with Timber and the rest of the Dutch contingent we have at Arsenal. I think it would be a wonderful signing, a brilliant signing. He fits in with the age profile of the squad. He can score goals from midfield. He's technically and tactically very gifted and very aware. He's an international for the Netherlands. I don't see why you don't do this Tune Koopmeiners deal. He's valued about 30 million from Transfermarkt. They possibly could be looking for about 50 million. That's going to be the same quality you're going to be spending on a Romeo Lavia, and I think Tune Koopmeiners is a more ready player right now than a Romeo Lavia. And I do think, especially in this market, time is just as important as the money you spend. And I think you could get a Tune Koopmeiners deal through pretty quickly. I think you could get a Koopmeiners deal through pretty quickly. Southampton are going to try to negotiate because they're in the championship. They're going to look to reinvest, and that is a very key player for them. So is Koopmeiners for Atalanta, but I do think that is a deal we could persuade the player and get done. But you guys let me know what you think down below. I just laid out a few options for you. If Thomas Partey was to leave, Thomas Partey linked with the move away, allegedly agreeing personal terms, and he is not on a direct flight with the squad to America. He will join up with the squad next week, according to reports. But right now, Thomas Partey looks to edge closer to a move away from the club. If Arsenal could get 50 million for him, I'd let him go, and I would reinvest that money in a player like Tune Koopmeiners. Tune Koopmeiners is my guy that I want for the position. We've seen Romeo Lavia link. That looks like the most likely player we will end up with. And we're also seeing Caicedo link, but according to a lot of reports, especially a high source in terms of The Athletic, saying that bridges have been burnt between Arsenal and Brighton over that deal. So that deal looks like it's basically off. So you guys let me know what what would you like to see in the comments down below. I have some stats. I have put some stats up screen of Tune Koopmeiners. You can also check out the last video. I have a Tune Koopmeiners link down below. And ultimately tell me your best memory about Thomas Partey. If you're going to miss him, if you think we should get rid of him or not. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get this channel to 500 subscribers. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Bye.